How's everybody doing this evening? Welcome to. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to Dudes Talking episode 22. We're gonna talk about the Denver airport. We're gonna talk about the weekly weird news that's been going on. I'm here with the Epic Journeyman and Jimmy, the infamous Jimmy Jean from Into the Microcosm. How you guys doing this evening? That's good. I'm glad. Glad you guys are doing well. Um, Hope everybody out there is doing good this evening. So Jimmy, start us out. What you know about the Denver airport? What you hold on? What you got?
Oh well, man. I mean, this is one of my guilty pleasures of a subject because it's so deep. You might say it's deep underground. It goes so deep that anything you see as above, so below. I mean, as far as the Denver airport is concerned. So,
That's good. I'm glad. Glad you guys are doing well. Um, Hope everybody out there is doing good this
what?
evening. So Jimmy, now we're getting. Where are we getting? Okay, that's weird. All right, go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry, I have no idea what that was.
Me neither. Oh well, man. I mean, this is.
What? All right, go ahead, Jimmy. That's weird. Go ahead and talk. Epic, you there? Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. That was strange. That was like a voice from another place.
I
Yeah.
have no idea.
Start talking about Denver Airport. That's what happens, man.
Yeah, we have massive technical difficulties for tonight for no reason. I had no problems the past two nights, and now okay. So what would you like to say about the Denver Airport, Epic?
Well, we all talk about the murals. We all talk about how it looks from the air, and the get the Mustang there and the on the runway there, and then the internet right now. We're looking at YouTube, but they had the Anubis statue. The Anubis statue was there for a long time. It was supposed to. I thought that was awesome. It was supposed to be there for a couple days or weeks when the Tutankhamun exhibit was there. They just kind of left it there for about a year and a half or something. So even that much more ominous, right? So yeah, and it turns out like in 2016, the CEO of the airport decided to embrace the whole idea of the conspiracy theories and make like a show out of it for marketing. It was a woman, I forget her name, but I thought that was interesting that she, after the Jesse Ventura one in 2012, kind of got a lot of attention. And he's like, okay, heck with it. We're just going to, embrace it totally. So I don't know if she's the one who made the Anubis statue stay on the tarmac all that time. But yeah, it's truly a weird thing to see when you're flying in. Might be your last time touching off the earth, right? And that's the last thing you see is the guardian of the underworld, right? So yeah, there's a lot to get into with that, so we'll touch on it, I'm sure.
So, anyways, like I was saying, as far as the Denver airport's concerned, as above, so below. So anything that you see in the upper echelon or area that we're used to at the Denver airport, you can very well, expect as a reflection of the same sort of facility below ground. So there's been so much over the years, like Epic was just saying. I mean, recently they introduced this talking gargoyle, and I sent you the video, John. If you want to get into some of those materials that I sent you, there's a thing about the gargoyle. There's a thing about the horse. They call it what do they call the horse, John? It's like Goosifer.
Blucifer, because it's blue.
Blucifer. Right, so it's supposed to be one of the horses of the apocalypse, man. Epic. It's supposed to be one of the horses of the apocalypse. Is it, am I correct there, or I mean,
a lot of people think so, but they also say, well, it's just for the Denver Broncos, right? They're like their team there, right? But it just happens to be a pale horse, or blue one, Blucifer,
well,
right?
are the horses of the apocalypse? Are they Broncos?
It just says they're horses. Yeah.
So, there's no way of knowing if they're Broncos or if they're just plain old swayback nags.
No, we could break out the scripture. John's probably got it handy there. Actually, it describes the riders on them. It describes the one, and the pale horse verses later on. But yeah, so it could be that. It's hard to say.
I mean, but the whole thing about it, that started a lot of people wondering was the murals. So, John, where do you want to get started on some of this, man? Because I mean, literally, the Denver airport in and of itself is just an unbelievable facility. Like, for example, if you look down from space, you can see a swastika down there. It's kind of shaped like a swastika. John, did you see that?
Yeah, I did. I saw the pictures that you sent me, Jimmy. Why don't I read a part of an article about Blucifer, and then we can play the little bit of the Denver 7 video on Blucifer.
All right.
So, Blucifer, the murderous Mustang of Denver Airport by Atlas Obscura from Slate. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Denver International Airport, where the local time is 3:43 p.m. On behalf of our estranged residents, we'd like to draw your attention to the demonic blue horse rearing in rage on your left. His official name is Blue Mustang, but locals call him Blucifer. The 32-foot sculpture of seemingly bloodthirsty Bronco is the work of artist Luis Jimenez. Commissioned as a public art for the airport and installed in 2008, the horse represents the wild spirit of the old American West. It also come to represent death, destruction, and diluted debates. Blucifer hasn't even been unveiled when the bad vibes begin. In 2006, Jimenez died after a section of the 9,000-pound sculpture fell on him and severed an artery in his leg. 2 years later, the beast that killed its creator went on display at the airport. The horse's cobalt color, glowing red eyes, and fierce face immediately attracted public ire. In addition to railing against the Blue Mustang's ugliness, Denver residents had voiced concerns that the horse is cursed due to its role in Jimenez's demise. Denver Airport itself has attracted some wild conspiracy theories over the years. When opened in 1995, 16 months behind schedule and way over budget, a few of the more paranoid citizenry began asking questions. Why was it so expensive? Why the plethora of unmarked buildings? Could they have been built atop some secret subterranean command bunkers for the New World Order? Why are the one-ways shaped like a swastika? Sort of. If you look at them from above and cover them some of the buildings with your hand and squint a little, it looks a little bit more clearer than that, in my opinion. The Blue Mustang with this horse of the apocalypse feel mainly adds another element of intrigue to the cluster of conspiracies at Denver International Airport. Despite the bad vibes and petitions for its removal, the hellacious horse continues to maintain its watch over the airport.
Yes, it does, John. It does maintain its watch. And here is, this is that Blucifer.
Arch.
Blucifer, scary and awesome, John. Or just strange. That's what the title of this video is. Here we go.
York, the Statue of Liberty. Here in the Mile High City.
It's kind of creepy.
We have this guy, a 32-foot...
I call it the devil horse.
Known simply as Mustang.
It's like just amazing that when you see this Bronco sitting out there, you know you like a Bronco country.
Maybe so, but we're just getting started. As you just heard, many feel this electric blue Mustang is way too demonic. Others say he's as cool as the big blue bear and perfect for Colorado. Yet another opinion is he's not art and a waste of taxpayer money. Other questions, is he cursed? This guy, is he here to stay?
I call it the devil
horse. Is he the
horse.
work of an undercover Raiders fan? So how did this 9,000-pound electric blue Mustang with glowing red eyes end up on Pena Boulevard? Let's go on a 360 gallop to find some answers. First, a little background. In 1993, sculptor Luis Jimenez was commissioned to create a public art project for DIA.
He's got work in the Met, in the Smithsonian. He's one of the leaders in contemporary sculpture.
DIA spokesperson Emily Williams says Jimenez created the Mustang to capture Denver's pioneering Western spirit. But what's with those Damien eyes?
The artist fashioned those eyes as a tribute to his father, who owned a neon shop in New Mexico.
The eyes are actually LED, but any further insight is shrouded in mystery. Jimenez had a major problem with deadlines as his deed neared completion in 2006. 13 years late, and now at a cost of $650,000, tragedy struck. A large chunk of the pony broke loose and crushed the artist to death.
Because of this tragic accident that some people believe that Mustang might be cursed, he has locally the nickname Blucifer.
Blucifer was finally installed 2 years later to almost universal scorn. A Facebook group formed calling for his removal.
But that's good art, right? The art is meant to spark a conversation.
Columbus visitor Kaylee Warwick
Extremely strange.
still doesn't get it.
Every time we come here, its eyes glow red. It's really, really creepy.
Others, like Deb Lundberg,
An attention getter.
are more forgiving.
The red eyes are kind of a eye catcher, so.
It's also anatomically correct.
Yeah, it is. Which I guess that's okay.
It's anatomically correct, John, and there's nothing wrong with that as far as that lady's concerned.
I guess that woman's got a thing for horses, I guess. Okay.
Well, you never know, John. I mean, the apocalypse, when you're riding the apocalypse, you can expect Armageddon anytime soon. I'm just saying.
A couple things struck me there, like before we had the video that played after, and it's interesting because he mentioned the exact thing that I was going to latch onto a little bit. I'm not one of these big numerology guys, but that stuff does work. People do use it. A lot of these esoteric guys, specifically Masons, use it a lot. And so you listen to all this. It's 32 feet tall, exactly 32 feet tall, which is the highest level of normal masonry. You have to be awarded the 33rd, right? And then it was 9,000 pounds. And if 9,000 incorporates 3, 6, and 9, 3,000, 6,000 equals 9,000, right? And we went on a 360-degree tour right after he mentioned that, right, which is 369 again. It fell on him when it was $650,000 over budget. You just have to wonder if there's another $16,000 he's going to scarf up there at some point. That would have been something else, right? But it was $650, he said. So we'll let that go. But yeah, it is interesting. I mean, if you put that all together, it's deliberate. At least the 32 feet for sure. And I'd like to see his other art. I never did look up his other art.
Tell you what, man, I'll guarantee you, man, that it's just like the Washington Monument. There's some of it's underground, so it actually adds up to 666 feet. There's probably 1 foot of this this hoss, the hoss of death. It's probably underground. It's probably 33 feet tall. What do you think? No?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, I mean, I don't doubt it. There's the way these...
You guys got to hear. You got to let me play this chatty gargoyle bit, man, because listen, this is what's funny about this. Before we start getting into some of the deeper secrets of the Denver airport facility, what's funny about this gargoyle to me when I first heard about it was that, yeah, it's a joke and everything, blah, 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 right? But nah, maybe it's really not a joke. I mean, maybe it's just right out in plain sight. Like, you think it's a joke, and I think it's a joke, but nobody thinks, but it's really not a joke, right? It's really just like they say that plaque inside about the New World Airport. You know what I mean? That's supposedly a joke, too. And the murals, they're a joke too. And the fact that it's a giant swastika, that must be another one of them jokes.
Oh man, you joking?
You joke? Hey, so here, let's get this guy now. So this is called Chatty Gargoyle at the Denver International Airport. All right. So the thing is, it looks super realistic. It sits and it perches, and as people walk by it, it just randomly talks. Now, I'd be willing to bet you, and Epic, you can probably back me up on this. There's probably some sort of a camera mechanism inside there, so somebody's working that booth or whatever. It's like Disneyland kind of. But here we go. Let's check this out. You ready, John? Do you need the link, or do you got it already? All right, here we go. I'm at the Kevlar tents that can repel asteroids. Look at those things.
That's a little too close for comfort, lady.
Oh, damn.
What, you never seen a talking gargoyle before? Welcome to Illuminati headquarters. I mean, Denver International Airport.
This is awesome.
Hello? Do I know you?
Are you hungry?
Oh, I'm starving. You got anything for me? Those flowers look delicious.
Oh, my God. Oh, it's because of the conspiracy.
Oh, it's because of the conspiracy. Look at me. I'm a little know-it-all. Will you get back over here? I got a question about this conspiracy. Did you have to buy an extra seat for your hat, sir? Sir, are you stealing a desk? Sir, you have resting, confused face. Do you have a favorite animal or pet?
A caterpillar.
A caterpillar? Wouldn't you rather have a gargoyle?
No!
Yes. You know, you can actually put the phone down and have a conversation with me. But no, I'm a millennial. I've got to post it. I've got to snap face it and Twitter book it. Excuse me, miss, I've got a stain that needs some polishing. Can I borrow your cleaning cart?
Oh, no.
I need your help. Guess what my favorite food is?
What?
No, I want you to guess.
Human?
Cumin. Yes, I love cumin.
I said human.
Oh, I thought you said cumin. I'm a real big spice guy. Furry hat guy. I can't believe you are wearing one of my friends.
Hey, this isn't your friend.
It used to be until you put it on your head, man.
How old are you?
Well, 243 years old now. I look good for my age, don't I?
Yeah, work out.
All the time. You should see my squats.
You're such a sweet talker.
Will you take me back home with you?
Let's go. I have some space in my backpack.
Actually, I think you have too much baggage for me.
There it is, man. The chatty gargoyle. What do you guys think about that?
I sent a picture. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. I sent a picture. I don't know if you got it, and I don't know if we could post it on or not. Did you get it there, John? Because I want to see what you guys think about that picture. I got an interpretation of it, but I want to see if you guys see it the same thing I do.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Yeah, I can't see. I can't see anything right now. I'm in the complete dark in the Santa Cruz
All right,
Mountains.
there it is. It's up.
All right, so listen, John, don't forget to have some of those other pictures. Throw those.
I
up
got them
too.
all. I got them all in a folder, ready to go.
Nice, killer, right on. So what'd you think about the chatty gargoyle?
I mean, it's all a joke, right? I mean, ha 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 ha. It's all fun and games.
I know.
Until
Well,
someone
see,
loses an eye. I mean.
I know. Well, see, I mean, that's the best. That's the best thing in the world. That's the best place in the world to hide your whatever it is to put it right in the front room, right where everybody could see it. Because when someone's coming in your house trying to rip you off, they're gonna go digging around in your underwear drawer looking for your whatever's. You're looking for your watch, looking for your seagull Chinese watch. I mean. Seriously though, there is so much rich material here because as you go past the horse of the horse of the apocalypse, or is it what are those horses called, John, in the Bible?
4 horsemen of the apocalypse. 4 horses of the apocalypse.
Okay, so lots of people think apocalypse means Armageddon. But apocalypse doesn't mean that. Apocalypse means revelation, doesn't it, John?
Yes, it does, Jimmy. Like the apocalypse of Peter. Yes, I mean, yes, it means revelation. Yes, the apocalyptic books.
But somehow the word apocalypse has been conflated with the idea of Armageddon, has it not?
Well, apocalypse, if I remember, are the events that lead up to Armageddon, which Armageddon is the place where the final confrontation will occur, if I remember correctly.
Well, but the idea of Armageddon with the final battle and the bomb, the nuclear bombs going off and all this, that's what people think about when you say the word apocalypse.
Yes.
People think Armageddon when you say apocalypse, but apocalypse does not mean Armageddon's idea, not the destruction. Apocalypse,
right.
Revelation.
Yes, apocalypse is revelation or the series of events. Armageddon is
the unveiling. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So in that context, now these 4 horses of the apocalypse, they take on a different they sort of take on a different tone when you start talking about them, then, don't they? Because they all of a sudden they don't mean. I mean, John.
They don't mean the end because they're not the end. They're not.
Okay, so what are the 4 horses of the apocalypse, John?
There is the first one, which
I'm
is...
not trying to test you. I just don't know them off the top of my head.
Okay, there's the first one, which is the white horse, or the rider upon the white horse, who was the conqueror. The crown was given to him in a bow. I remember that. And then the second one was the second beast, was red, and it was power that was given to him was to take peace away from the earth, and that make people kill each other. He was given a giant sword. The third seal was a black horse, and he had like a pair of like balances, like justice, if I remember. And the fourth one was another pale horse too, and death sat upon the fourth horse. And
right.
power was giving
pale horse.
Power was giving him to kill with sword and hunger and everything. So those were the 4 horses of the apocalypse.
And so Bill Cooper, his book was Behold a Pale Horse, because he was talking about the 4th horse, right?
Yes, he was talking about death, yes. They're normally known as conquest, war, famine, and death, I think, if I remember.
Do you guys remember when the Arab Spring was going on?
Yes.
Do you guys remember there was this video that surfaced, and there was literally a horse running through the crowd like a white horse. And isn't the Mahdi the savior character in Islam? Doesn't he ride a horse, a white horse, or some sort of a horse?
Yes.
Yeah, it was interesting, especially because people saw this horse, and at the time when I saw that video, I thought to myself, I wonder if they threw a hologram in there. They were messing with.
But Yeshua also comes down on a white horse too, not a pale horse, but a white horse.
And there used to be a song, "If You Want to Ride the White Horse." Remember that song?
Yes. Ride the white pony.
Ride the white horse. I think that's about heroin, though.
Yeah, it's about heroin, right?
But who knows? Heroin could be the apocalypse.
Well, this gargoyle, I guess we can't share the picture.
I have it up. It's up. It's up on the stream.
Oh, I don't see it. I must be behind. I'm seeing the video, so you can see it. So if you guys can see it, I'm going to point out some things, and if you guys know your Nazi history, you're going to see it right away.
So what is this, Epic? Is this
so what it is? If I'm going to describe it good, is it's got the gargoyle, the talking gargoyles at the top, and the way that it's featured is it's backlit by these can lights, right? And these can lights cast a shadow. As it casts a shadow, it makes a particular shadow shape around the gargoyle. And the shape of the shadow is that of a bell, right? And at the bottom of the bell is this line of lights going across it, right? Might just be this picture, but the shape is exactly how people have described Die Glocke, the Nazi bell. I mean, exactly, dead ringer. And I have to think that's intentional, because they were saying that they wanted to, intentionally make it more conspiratorial as a marketing scheme, but they hit this dead on, I think. What do you think, John? So you could see it. Do you agree?
John, are you there?
Are you there?
I think John faded into the ether space, man. I hear a lot. I think he's over there practicing his Foley artistry.
Don't go looking, John. You may not like what you find there.
Damn it all the hell. Damn you. Hey, so here I'm trying to find White Horse. I forget what the name of that band was. It was
One Hit Wonder. Yeah.
Wasn't it Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five?
I have no idea.
Hey, in the meantime, my name is Jimmy. That's the Epic Journeyman. We're here with John. We're talking about John Brisson, and he's got Fix Your Gut. So you need your gut fixed, definitely go check out Fix Your Gut. And then also, we're here on We Read the Documents. And we are happy to be here, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we are dissecting a facility known as the Denver International Airport, the DIA. This rhymes with CIA, doesn't it, Epic?
Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad you can't see this picture, Jimmy. I think it's just like a perfect depiction. I mean, it's even got, because they describe the Nazi bell as also having these hieroglyphics at the base, these strange characters, and this line of colored horizontal lines going across it are exactly where that ring is supposed to be.
I see it. I think you're dead on there, man. I think there's a lot of archaeology that can be found at the Denver International Airport, man, because the murals that we're going to be getting into in a little bit here, I think they depict, because I mean, listen, just living in the climate that we're living in now, right? You see, especially, and this is topical, because you see this Greta chick, young girl with the global warming thing, right? Well, there's a thematic that runs through the archaeology that you can see, that you can dig up here in the underground caverns of the Denver airport, Epic, because you see a theme that runs where lots of children are in these murals. Almost so like in the future, when people were walking through there, they would see what happened, back in the day when it happened. And there's a lot of people, you can track airliners across the in the airspace, right? Epic, they have those aviation websites where you can see all the traffic that goes on across the United States. Yep. And there's a lot of people that watch private jets going in to the Denver International Airport, because they think that when you see a bunch of these elite people in their private jets heading to Denver International Airport, that's when stuff's about to hit the fan, man. And, I mean, who knows? Who knows, man? Who knows? That's some Grandmaster Flash while we're waiting for Johnny to come back. Are you back, John? John, are you there?
I've been back.
John,
yeah, he's been scrolling, yeah.
John,
the secret scroll.
John, there's something wrong, John, at the Denver airport. So, Johnny, are we stepping forward? Are we moving? Are we getting into the canoe and paddling downstream on the eastern slope of the Rockies in Speculation River?
And yes, we are. And I wanted to mention that I got a picture up on the screen that the Denver International Airport, on March 19th, 1994, a capstone was laid in dedication to the Masons, both the Prince Hall and the Grand Lodge of Colorado. Had to put a capstone, the dedication capstone to the Masons, in the airport itself.
And I would argue that capstone you're looking at is it right there, that everything else is underneath it.
Yeah, I would say you're right. Well, I'll tell you one thing, man. And, people don't get into it too much. I mean, it's one of those things. It's kind of like no one was really getting into SRI until me and Epic brought it up. It's the same thing with Colorado, and it's the same thing with Denver. And there's a lot of really, beyond the Denver airport, there's a lot of esoteric sort of black magic stuff that goes on in the Denver area, and you can find. I mean, I don't want to get into it tonight, and I mean it's probably a show for you and John to do, but there's some stuff with a hotel up there that a lot of people have tied to the Bush families. And there's activity up there, but I mean, it's almost the kind of subject that it's literally, it's dangerous to talk about it because the kind of black magicians that are dealing with stuff up in Denver, you wouldn't want one of those dudes, casting you the evil eye, as it were.
So,
but speaking of the evil eye, John. So the Denver airport's got the evil eye, the red eye of Horus beaming down from the white horse of the apocalypse, man. What is that racket, man? Are you wrestling a snake over there?
I don't know what that was.
That's the moat. That's the wall, right? You got to get those snakes and alligators in there.
It's like Anaconda, man. That movie. A giant snake that comes up.
Well, the Masons say that it was, even though the airport was dedicated and it opened up in 1995 after this capstone was put in place as one of the final things as far as construction is concerned. The Masons say, that's just coincidence, Jimmy. That's coincidence.
Well, I mean, Masons are always, I mean,
they've been laying cornerstones for 300 years.
There you go. That's exactly right. So why wouldn't they lay the cornerstone on the New World Airport?
They cornered the market. Yeah.
Let me tell you something, man. The Denver airport is the cornerstone of the Masons collections. And so we're now, ladies and gentlemen, step in and step under the Kevlar tent into the world known as the DIA, or the Denver International Airport, and you're struck, John. When you come inside this thing,
Let's do it.
Have you been there, John?
No, but my wife has when she had to flown. Yes, and she's said that Lucifer was very creepy.
I know. So what are they? So what are they trying to say? Oh, yeah, we're just trying to market it, right? Right, Epic. But Epic, I know you've been through the Denver International Airport. Come on, man.
Oh yeah, a bunch of times. I haven't been there since they put the old Lucifer up though. Last time I was there, was in 2004. I want to say something like that. So it wasn't there when I was there. But yeah, it's a trippy place, man. It really is. And it was way bigger than it needed to be. That's one of the things that draws people's attention. Is it's vast. They got all those walking sidewalks and shuttles and things. The shuttles come into play here, I think, because when you saw that capstone, that's the entryway, isn't it, John, to one of those shuttles? I didn't see it in person, but it's down there, right? You go down to hop the connecting shuttles to the different terminals. Yeah, and so the thing that struck me, and this is we'll do our speculation island thing on this one, because I do think there's a lot more underground, and I think it ties directly into Cheyenne Mountain, which is close by, and this whole Masonic tie-in ties to the fact that the military, the upper brass of the military, is strictly Masons. I mean, almost to the exclusion of anything else, right? You don't get to that position in a lot of these, especially the missiles and the astronaut program, without being a Mason. So I think that plays in a lot. But the thing about it is they made that MX missile program, and they pioneered the testing of that, the underground rail cars in Colorado. Colorado, yeah. Well, so this was that ground.
Yeah, and and let me chime in on that. Let me pour some gasoline on that fire. Let me throw a bone in that soup, dude. Because let me tell you, I believe that this not only is it an underground facility like we're talking about, but it's also a portal and a rail station in a network of magnetic rails that go underground all over the United States, emanating directly from this central location or this point. Now, also, Epic, tell everybody about what's just up the road from here, which is the Central Command, right? Isn't the nuclear and air command just under the mountain over there.
Yeah. SAC. Yeah. Yes, the Cheyenne Mountain has all, we see all the movies and war games and things like that where all the guys are deep inside the mountain and they have the big screens of all the incoming missiles and, the big drama. And all these movies use that particular place. Could let them film there, by the way. They let them come in and film there. Not with the real stuff, obviously, going, but, a good simulation of it. And, that is the brains of of our countermeasures of if we ever attacked, that's our first line of defense. They detect the missile launches there, they track the missiles, and we plan our, how we're going to reprise based on that. And that actually was, we nearly had it happen during the Reagan administration due to a faulty, it was like a stupid thing. I forget what it was. I know it was a faulty component. And they thought there was like 300 and some odd missiles coming in, I think it was. And then all of a sudden they realized there was only like 30 and then some other problem. But they were to the point where they were going to launch, right? And we can look that up because my numbers might be a little skewed there. But yeah, it almost happened. And it was just because, he trusted the computer too much back then, with those floppy drives and things, right?
Well, yeah. And, I want to point some out. Keith Sweet in the chat mentioned Peyton Manning. And I want to point out something that people, listen, they ridiculed Peyton Manning and made him a fool for getting down on a knee for the Lord. But then when Colin Kaepernick got down on his knee, he was a hero. So what's up with that, man? And I'm telling you, there's evil under them thar hills over there in on the eastern slope of the Rockies. And so Epic, when you were in there, did you go to the mural and witness the mural yourself, or have you just subsequently, since you've been through there, and looked at the mural?
Well, it was. I've walked by it. I've gone by it. It's a series of murals. It's 4 separate murals, and the one you see as you come into like the baggage claim or whatever, that's the one everybody knows about. That's the one I think I've seen is you go in. I think it's on the right hand side as you go there, and they've taken those down now. At least I don't know about all of them, but I know they took most of them down, right? Because it's causing too much controversy, I guess. But if you look at them, I've spent a lot of time looking at them, and you can interpret them a lot of ways. I'll let you guys talk about it a little bit first, and I'll give my interpretation if you want. But I think what you were saying about the nexus point about the underground railway is correct. I think that the Hyperloop that Elon Musk is working on, and those noises we hear underground are exactly that, completing this project, because the cover is the Boring Project, they call it, right? The Boring Company, right? And that's okay. Well, we've made the Boring Company. We've done a little section of Hyperloop, and it's only a couple miles long. No, man, they have nuclear. When I say they, the U.S. military, the Air Force, of all people, has a nuclear-powered digging machine, right? Like what you see in the movie Total Recall. I mean, it actually digs tunnels, right? And they've had for a long time. So they've been building these for a very long time, and it makes sense for it to have that nexus point, because half the infrastructure, or a good part of the infrastructure, is already built, and they've piloted the MX missile project because it was supposed to be subterranean. Then they shifted to just rail cars, and then go subterranean when they got kind of their location and dive underground all of a sudden. So you'd see the
I just think it's a brilliant put together that you put that together, because Elon Musk is the type of person. I mean, I don't know if you guys know what dark fiber is, but people have laid a bunch of fiber optic cables all over the place, and if you find that fiber and know about it, you can use it and lease it out to people, and it's the same concept, Epic, with what you're talking about.
See, the dark fiber, I mean, you can install intentionally, at great expense, or like I say, you can just find, hey, they
right. So Elon Musk is the type of brother who sees those old tunnels for the missile system and says to himself, look at these tunnels are here. All I got to do is tie this to that, to this to that, and all of a sudden he seems like a genius who's boring tunnels all over the place. Like when the train finally, the public viewpoint of the train that's going to be available finally pops out, it's going to seem like Elon Musk is, a genius or whatever. But really, I mean, these noises that people hear and stuff, these scraping noises and this. I mean, yeah, it's romantic to think that, it's some other weird situation. Nibiru is just on the other side of the sun, and the gravitational pull is slowing down the rotation of the Earth, and everything's coming to a grinding halt before 3 days of darkness, and the white horse of the apocalypse comes flying through the clouds. You're listening to We've Read the Documents, and from the chat room, Laid Back from 1983, White Horse.
If you wanna ride, don't ride the white horse. If you wanna ride, don't ride the white horse. White horse, don't ride the white horse. White horse, don't ride the white horse.
Sorry, John, I just couldn't resist, man.
It's all right, Jimmy. This song was awesome, by the way.
Yeah, I know, man. That's a good one. I remember dancing to that one. I was in the bars, man, in '83. Believe me, I was dancing to White Horse, bro, with a beer in one hand and a, nice looking lady in the other hand. Let's put it that way.
One thing I found about the airport that you guys might find interesting, and I want to share you a little bit of knowledge, Jimmy and Epic.
Kick me some knowledge.
All right, so the airport has a bronze statue of astronaut, congressman-elect, and Denver native Jack Swigert. Jack Swigert, who flew on Apollo 13 as Commando Modular Pilot, was elected to the House of Representatives in 1982, but died of cancer before he was sworn in. So I have it up there with his photo with a gold-plated helmet. And of course, if anybody's seen good old Apollo 13, Ron Howard's film, Swigert was portrayed by good old Kevin Bacon. So, yeah.
So 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
So what'd you say? He's got a helmet, John?
It's got a gold helmet.
You think they polish his helmet, John?
You tell me.
I don't know, man. But I mean, if you're going to polish a helmet, I guess a gold helmet would be a good one to keep polished, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you don't want it to go to waste or anything.
Nah, you got to throw down a little bit of elbow grease and polish that astronaut's helmet, man, every chance you get over there. Don't you?
Well, I tell you, we don't want to let this go by. We're just talking about the Masonic tie-ins and how I just mentioned you don't get in the astronaut program without being a Mason. You don't get into Cheyenne Mountain in the brass there without being a Freemason. So here we are talking. Here you have the capstone there. You have a Freemason from Apollo 13 there, right? Kevin Bacon, which is always a crack up playing his role, right? Because there's something to that. I don't know what that is. There's something to that. It was just a coincidence on that, I'm sure. But we're talking about some other things that tie to Apollo 13. I mean, they didn't get to go to the moon, right? They got all the way there and didn't get to go, right? They just got to watch it out the windows they passed by. But the thing about that I find interesting is that is to most people that really got turned on to the Mandela effect at the time, that's the thing that convinced them was the Apollo 13 flip-flop, that they saw this thing happen and flipped in real time on them. And so those people who saw that, they're never going to think any different. They know something's weird going on with that. And we have to describe that probably. I don't know if we can do it here. Maybe I can take the opportunity. Do you know about it, John and Jimmy?
No.
Okay, so what this is a lot of people in 2016, but it turns out it predates that, we're on the internet with windows open, just like we have windows now, like we're doing our live stream. We have our windows open. We're looking at everything. And we're talking about specifically this quote from the movie. And it's on the cover of the poster, and it's on the cover of the video, the VHS and DVD. And it's the famous line. What's the famous line from the movie, guys? The tagline.
Houston, we got a problem.
Houston, we have a problem, right? That's it. It's on the cover. Houston, we have a problem. Well, and we all looked at that, and there's people saying, no, it's changed. It's not that anymore. And it has a different camera angle in the movie and everything. And it's Houston, we've had a problem, right? Not Houston, we have a problem. Like the dramatic delivery that Tom Hanks gives, it was in the previews and everything else, it comes from his side as he's first it's like on a side view kind of profile, and he kind of turns not to the camera at all, but kind of zoom in from where Kevin Bacon's position, I believe, is. And he goes, Houston, we have a problem. I mean, he delivers it like it's urgent, right? But it's not like that. It goes to the actual radio from the actual tapes, NASA tapes, and on that one you can hear it clearly say, Houston, we've had a problem. We've had a problem. So people debated it for hours and days, and the group I was in was a matter of days, and it was like, well, that's a trip. I guess we were all wrong, and we all came to the conclusion we're wrong. We're looking at different windows. We're looking at our tapes at home. I didn't have a tape at home. I always saw this stuff on the internet, and there's a big stream on the movieclips.com. It's around summer 2016, maybe August. And suddenly it changed. It went back to Houston, we have a problem. Well, we all know. It went back to that exactly the way it was. And it had the different camera we all remember and everything. And every single clip we had, and a lot of us I did too, had our windows open at the time. We went back and checked them, and they all changed. And we saw it live time. So there's no debate about this. It happened. We were looking at it when it happened. But the weird thing is it continued to happen and still does to this day. And it turns out we did some research on it. The people in the group I was in on that thread, we found stuff from 2015 of people talking about it. And I guess it had gone back even before that. And every single person, when they go back to find it again, it's just to Houston, we have a problem, just like we all know today. But for hundreds of people, if not thousands, they saw and spent a lot of time dwelling on it with open windows when they changed, right? The different delivery. It was a different camera angle too. It's like farther away. It was really a trip. So anybody who saw that, that's what got me interested. That specifically is what got me interested in how are they doing this, and got me interested. That's how I found the whole SRI thing, was chasing this down, because I became convinced it was some kind of social engineering experiment, and I believe it is. And yeah, I saw it.
Ground control to Major Tom.
Right.
Let's come back down to earth, man, because we're going deep underground in the Denver airport. But you know what you should do though, Johnny, is you should book. The Epic Journeyman. People don't realize this, man, but there's a lot of. He's a multifaceted individual, and one of the things that he's actually an expert in, I would say, I would classify you as an expert, is the Mandela effect, man. And he's literally been on major stuff about it, and he's well. You should have him on about it, man. Johnny.
Yeah, Vic, we'll do a show on the Mandela effect one day, for sure.
You definitely should, man. You should, man. I highly recommend it.
Because there's people like SMQ that push that we're already dead, Epic. We died years ago during
the quantum immortality
during the 2012 Mayan apocalypse.
Right.
Hey, man, back in the 80s, there was a band called Exodus, and they used to have a T-shirt, and on the back it said, "You can't kill us because we're already dead." How do you know we're not already dead, John? You can't really know, can you? I mean, I thought about it because I had cancer, right? And so I've thought about that before. Like, I've thought about, man, maybe I actually died back then, And ever since then, I've been living in this living hell. Because, I mean, it's gotten pretty bad, man, since I've had my sickness. So I'm wondering, man, did I get thrown into the pit of hell, John, or are we actually alive? I can't tell anymore.
We are alive, Jimmy. We are alive.
All right. So, I mean, life is pain, I guess, huh, John?
Yeah. Remember, like it says in Hebrews, Jimmy, as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this, the judgment. So, yeah, when SMQ goes around and says, and he's actually changed on that. too, when pressed. It's very interesting that people do that when they're pressed on such things. Now he says he's not so sure that we once died at 2012 and we're living in the echoes of the Mayan apocalypse, which it wasn't really the Mayan apocalypse.
Well, no, you know what? I mean, this ties right into what we're talking about. So stop right there, little buckaroo. And let me get you in the corral for a minute and give you some sweet hay over here from the hill. Because, this ties into it because the deep underground bunkers and all this stuff that's been going on and all the activity that you've seen and all these untold trillions of dollars that have been being spent all in advance of something. Now, I've been in technology construction, so I build systems. I have to have them ready at a certain time, and so what we always have is what's called in that business. We have what's called a drop dead date, and that means that's the date that everything has to be done. But when you're the contractors, what they do is they tell you a date that's the drop dead date. But really, they're saving their own asses because they know that they really don't. It's really not the drop dead date for 6 more months, because they know on the drop dead date, not everybody's going to be ready, and they're still going to have a bunch of work to do. And I mean, you can back me up on this, Evan. So I mean, I think the 2012 situation, the 2012, I think that was the drop dead date to have everything ready for something that's going to happen. I mean, something that it's known in a community that we're not aware of straight away that something's going on. I mean, you can look to some of those movies. Like, what was that movie where they had these guys over in India and they were like super deep in the ground and they were monitoring the heating of the core and all this?
That was 2012, the movie. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so I mean,
neutrinos were overheating their score. Yeah.
Yeah, and so what didn't they say recently? There was neutrinos coming out of the Antarctic. They didn't know where they were coming from. They were beaming up out of the planet. It was about 6 or 9 months ago.
Yes, it did, and it was one of these weird things. It was a discovery. I think it was late 2017 or late last year from Antarctica, right? Yeah, that was a really interesting thing, actually, because they couldn't figure out where they're coming from. It's like the opposite of what they're expecting. I'm not an expert on that. I may know a lot about the Mandela effect, but I did read about that. Yeah, I was going to put a link in the chat here for a BBC program I did so people could watch that. I'll send that in a minute, guys. But yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, that 2012 movie, I have an interesting story about that. I saw it was going to be a terrible movie, It looked bad in the previews, like, I'm never going to watch that. But somehow I ended up watching it. Was visiting my uncle in Las Vegas. I was ironically back in Vegas looking for, talk about irony, I was back looking for the actual Missy and Sinbad movie tape from the video store, because he had stuff in the storage. And I was raiding the storage, and actually this link I'm going to give you is this whole story about that. But when I go there, we end up watching 2012 on HBO. It's like late, we've been drinking and stuff, and the movie ends. And it's a terrible movie, and the credits roll. And next thing I see is this house that caught in the water, this huge cataclysm, like going under a bridge. Like, man, I thought the movie was over. And it was over. It ended up that as soon as it turned it off, it was a tsunami in Japan. I mean, directly right into it, the live footage of the guys trying to cross the bridge and the house washing under the overpass and everything.
Oh,
yeah, talk about wild, yeah.
That is crazy. Isn't that the movie that was Woody Harrelson in that, where he's in
right? Woody Harrelson was the Bill Cooper kind of guy, yeah.
Yeah, he was sort of like
or like Freeman, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, he was, that was a cool idea. His character was cool, man. He's cruising around that RV. He's broadcasting. He's all hiding
out. I think it was hiding out in Colorado, wasn't he? Don't quote me on that, but I think he might have been.
Yeah.
No, Yellowstone. It was Yellowstone. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, is that Don Dawkin in the chat? I see Dawkin in there. I actually got drunk with Don Dawkin in the 80s. After a show he played where I worked. Yeah, Don Dawkin. He's
nice.
a pop. Yeah, we actually went home with chick with hair on her nipples that night. It was wild, man. Wild, I'm telling you. No, she was a masseuse, though. I mean, there was no sexual activity going on, but she just happened to have hair on her nipples. I don't know why. It's just, maybe it's hormones. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, she could have been a Denisinian, right? They call them Denisinian. They find this
Devisinian or too much PCO, maybe PCOS. Too much testosterone.
right.
The thing about it is, man, is what we're talking about is the apocalypse. And if there's a sign of the apocalypse, let me tell you something. It's a chick with hair on her nipples at a Dawkins concert. And that was in the 80s. So, I mean, I knew it was coming, John. And now they built this underground city known as the Denver airport. And in that city, above ground, as above, so below, John, as they say. Above ground, they have some very interesting artwork on the walls, don't they, John?
Very much so, Jimmy. Some interesting murals. Of course, I have the buildings up there that they have, and of course, the runway to itself looks like a swastika, Jimmy, like you'd mentioned earlier.
Are you gonna display some of the artwork for everybody?
Yes, I am. I'm getting it up right now.
All right, so let me know which one. Was she French? Oui, oui.
I'm gonna get the old the old Vigilant Citizen Denver Airport article because it has all the murals on there, if I remember correctly.
Vigilant Citizen. What did you? Who is it?
Vigilant Citizen. You never been to their blog up in Canada? It's been there I've been going there for a long time.
No, but I just remember the Celtic Rebel calling him the Vigilant Citizen many years ago.
I'm not saying that they do the best work or recommend it or anything, but occasionally it's interesting to read. Yes.
The Celtic Rebel had a name for everybody, man. so I can't say, but I will say this, man. I will say that the Celtic Rebel was the first dude, and this is like back in 2008. He came clean on Wilcock and that other dude. What's it?
Corey Good, David Wilcock, and Corey Good about their secret space program.
Oh, dude, no. Let me tell you something. The Rebel was dead on him, man. The Rebel was dead on those two guys. And he was on a bunch of people, man. He really was. That's why he was the most hated man in the alternative media next to... And he was even hated by Josh Reeves, man. So, I mean, if you're hated by Josh Reeves, man, you got to be the most hated man in the alternative media. Let me tell you something.
Because everybody hates Josh Reeves. He's blacklisted from everything because he's too damn good at what he does.
That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, the Rebel did some good shows back in the day, but he went off. I mean, in my opinion, he went in the bad direction. But he went in the direction of the swastika and talking about what happened, and potentially, the whole Khazarian, temple of Satan or whatever.
Synagogue of Satan. Everything's the Jews.
Yeah, the synagogue. Oh, I'm sorry, Dawkins. I didn't mean. So they're like a couple minutes behind us in the chat, and there's like a delay, and so Dawkins a woman, and I asked her if she was Dawn Dawkins. Well, she could have been DAWN Dawkins. Well, anyway, sorry about that, Dawn. Sorry about that, Dawkins. Anyway, yeah, so back to the swastika and the Khazarian temple of Satan, the synagogue of Satan. And
the Jews that say they're Jews but not Jews. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Right. So anyhow, the swastika was also a sun symbol. So this symbol goes back to the Hindu, and the Hindu have reference to the Vishnu, which is that's correct, right? The Vishnu epic. The spacecraft or the flying
the Vimana,
yeah. Yeah, the Vimana. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because the reason that you would construct this symbol, okay, is the sun symbol, right? So you would imagine that the reason this was done is because They want to show it from the air. Epic, just like you see these art pieces, these giant art pieces that can only be seen from space, that are done on the deserts, the lines of what are those, the Cosga lines in the desert, you
The
know.
lines in Nazca, yeah, they're getting ruined by all these people going out off-roading out there, and they're ruining them all. Not all of them, but I mean a lot of them. They took some precautions, you know. But yeah, back I guess it was in the '90s, a bunch of people went out there just off-roading to get to them and ruined a bunch of them. Not completely, but enough to mess it up, right?
But that's what these symbols are, and there's two other symbols that are right next to that. John, I sent you a shot that has the buildings.
Yeah, I showed all that a minute ago. I'll bring it back up.
Yeah,
Right
so
there.
what Epic, take a look at those two, if you could. Take a look at those two other symbols next to the swastika and see if those remind you of anything, because those I think those remind me of something, and I just can't think of what it is specifically, but that looks like a specific symbol that I've seen before. And I'm just wondering if that says something with those symbols or the logos. You know what I mean? And that those three symbols next to each other have a meaning. You know what? Those symbols, those first two
airplanes. Yeah, those are airplanes.
No, the rune. I'm sorry. I got excited there.
Yeah, right.
The runes. That is a rune symbol, man.
That's what I first thought too. I thought might be a rune. It might be a really blocked out aircraft, too. But the swastika is actually the ones here in the center that are crossed inside a box like that. This is going to get a little bizarre for a lot of people. You have to look this up. If you look at a electron microscope, it's not an electron microscope. I'm sorry, but it's taking magnetic field pictures of magnetic fields, where they focus the beams for a particle accelerator. They actually do that. They actually cross just like that, and they're offset slightly. They're not perfect, just like this isn't perfect, and that might be it. And your theory earlier about there being a particle accelerator underneath the Denver International Airport might have some validity if that's the case, because that is the symbol. And actually, if you extend that out, it does make a swastika. So it's interesting that I'm gonna see if I can find a picture. There's a picture of it on Twitter I just saw recently.
Hey, somebody pull up the rune stones and see if there's a rune stone that looks like that first symbol there, that doesn't outwardly look like a swastika.
Jimmy, can I drop something here? Can I drop a load of wisdom?
Drop a chunk of protein.
Okay, so famous philosopher and intellectual, who's a French author, René Guénon, he had mentioned that the swastika represents the North Pole, and that it only represents the sun as a reflection of the North Pole, and that that in addition, the swastika and its polar value has the same meaning of yin and yang, but also symbolized gamma for the great architect of the universe of free Masonic thought.
Wow.
And that the swastika represents the ecliptic North Pole centered in Draconis, with the constellation Draco as one of its beams. And he argued that the symbol is later attested as the four-horse chariot of Mithra in the ancient Iranian culture and also in Roman Mithraism. So again, that would go in with the horse theme. That would go in with the apocalypse. And also, René Guénon was a famous Freemason who actually did a lot of research into Gnosticism and Theosophy, but according to Freemasonry website, rejected them all except for Freemasonry. So, yeah, that's very interesting, isn't it?
It's wild too, because I'm personally of the belief that the craft people have seen over time, not necessarily what we see now in modern times in the sky, but in the past, I think those craft come from inside the earth. So I think at some point the population had to go inside the earth, and they still have command over the magnetic fields of the earth, and they utilize those fields to fly these craft. So I don't think the craft come from, outer space. So, and I think that is why you see the people from the north, you hear about these tall whites, these dudes, women, men with white hair, very good looking, tall, strong, well-rounded, peaceful people. But for some reason, man, there's a lot of fear about the people from the north, man. You know what I mean? You heard about it, right? The tall whites.
Yeah, a lot of this goes back to the Bird Diary, right? Where he saw this mammoth walking around, flew over the pole, and then saw it get green, and saw this mammoth-like elephant, and all these other things. And then supposedly when he went down to Antarctica and had the encounter with these flying craft, and you'd think more people would talk about that, but that were there. Right? But he did say it. He did, So there's that, or at least he's attributed to saying that. But this thing with the swastika, when I saw those magnetic lines of flux that focus the particle beams for the particle colliders, and it does make these shapes we're talking about right here. I mean, it really does, right? And it made me think immediately, and it's funny you brought up the Brahmana, because that's exactly what I thought of, is that this ancient symbol of the Brahmana was, for those who knew in the future, that's what it meant, right? The swastika as we see it today, that's what it is. It's those lines of flux. That's the key to unlocking it. And there it is right here. And that could just be two airplanes and a swastika, which I don't know how cool that is. It's cooler the way I'm thinking about it, I think, right now. But either way, it's definitely intended to be esoteric. It has some kind of meaning attributed to it. And you might be right, it's a rune. Could be.
All right, well, stand by, homies. I'm gonna throw you the runes, John. I'm gonna throw you the runes symbol in the chatskis. And the thing about it is, though, I can show you this here. Let me see. Here's the rune alphabet. Here it is. Hang on. Stand by, everybody. Go ahead, you guys. Keep going.
So you think they might be trying to spell something, Jimmy?
I do. Yeah, man.
And so
I could tell you right now, it's going to pan out, I think. Epic, you can have the professor take a look at it. Hang on a second. Stand by, because I can't
All right.
multitask. Hold on. Here. Hold on. Don't talk. I mean, yeah, go ahead and talk.
So anyway, you guys might find this interesting, too, that Alexander Dugin, as well as Stephen K. Bannon, Council for National Policy member, and Alexander Dugin is author of The Fourth Political Theory. Very strong ties in with both the Mountain Jews, Alex Jones, as well the alt-right, as well as Orthodox Christianity. They were both influenced by Rene Guénon, the guy that I was just talked about earlier.
Well, that's awesome.
That's wild. Okay, I threw that in there, John. Here's one that's got the symbols and their meanings. Hang on a second. So that's the alphabet. Hang on. Here's the symbols and their meanings. All right. And then here is just the symbols in and of themselves without any kind of influence. And then take a look at those, and then maybe see which one of those lines up with those other symbols there that we put together for the presentation. So yeah, so this is clear. We have some tape also, John. Let me go back to your the other chat here. We got some tape of the airport talking about UFOs. Let me see if I can dig this out here. We haven't even gotten to the we're about to step into the murals, and we just got completely blown out, man, because I thought immediately, I didn't realize where I'd seen that symbols looked familiar to me, and for some reason I was thinking runes. Did you take a look at it, Professor?
No, I was trying to get the particle beam pictures of the focusing magnets. But I'm heading back right now.
I took a look at it, Jimmy. I don't see anything, but maybe Epic the professor sees something. Maybe I'm missing something.
That might not be my subject. Let's see. I have looked at the runes a lot though, so let's see where we're at here. Did I just close the window? I don't think so.
John, get that other picture up there too. The one of the airport, of the buildings with the next to the swastika with.
They're up there. They're up there.
All right, hang on. I'm not over there. Let me come over to the channel. All I see over at the channel is the dude that polishing his helmet. Oh, that's because I probably might want to pitch. So the astronaut's still over there. He's polishing his helmet over there, John. Still, this is gold.
I mean, it's a gold helmet. I mean, the gold helmet of Freemasonry. With them wearing the nutsack of Jabalon up there on the moon, supposedly, when they all went to the moon. So.
Yeah, well, that's a horse of a different color. All right, yeah. So there you go. Okay, so let me see. Can you throw the runes up there also?
Yes.
Can you throw the runes with that? Because we got a whole bunch of people in the chat room that got good eyes, and maybe they could see something too. We might be able to decode it. But anyway, and the point being, this. You think it was an accident these ended up turning out like that?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. Coronado Island in San Diego, where the aircraft carriers, all berth, that's where the carriers come into San Diego. They all go to Coronado Island, and they have a landing strip there. They have a airfield, everything else. But yeah, their barracks are swastikas too. Exactly the same configuration as this one.
Barbara Parker on the chat mentions that the two symbols could be double-headed eagles if you look sideways.
Double-headed eagles, you mean? Yeah, you know what?
Yeah, that's right. It could
he's right. He's right. And you know what that means, right? Now, when you see the eagles facing one way, it means it's in charge of in the direction of the beak. So when the head's facing one way, it means you're in charge of everything in the east. And when you got the head going the other way, means you're in charge of everything in the west. And when the head goes both ways, it means you're in charge of the east and the west. You're in charge of everything. You own everything, which is interesting because John had brought up earlier that it said that the Queen of England owns quite a bit of property.
Supposedly, that's a big conspiracy theory about the airport.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is the least of the conspiracy theories we got to worry about at the airport, John, because when you walk through the door, the most thing that everybody talks about, and the whole reason they put that gargoyle up is because of those epic murals that are up there. And they are fantastic pieces of artwork. It took a lot of thought to come up with the thematic that's going on there. And the thematic ties directly into what we're seeing today and the narrative that we're seeing with the young people. Because one of the main, if you want to get to that one first, hang on a second. Yeah, that one there is the burning apocalypse in the background. You see some children, and then you see some adults. They're all sitting there. I sent you the actual JPEGs if in your chat box back in your other, not in this call, but in your other Skype address. So you don't have to use that website with those ads on the side. But yeah, so you can see right there. I mean, if we're to look at these and give our impression of what we're seeing with the iconography that's going on. I mean, you see cities on flames, trees are burning. You see these adults are in these caskets. You see. And you see mostly kids are left. So, I mean, there's a lot of talk about some sort of biological agent that, is used to get rid of all the older people. So there's just the younger people left. And since those people haven't been around long enough and they don't know anything about history, that those people will be easily malleable in a new world after this situation that's going on here in the background. These people are under glass for some reason, and I mean, isn't that a little? That's like a little girl over there on the right, under the glass.
Yeah, the casket.
Yeah, she's a white girl though. She's a little white girl, right?
Yeah, it's like a Native American or somebody in the center, right? And then it represents, so it's a green sea turtle on the left, a snow leopard in the center, buffalo with the trophy head on the right, the ribs of a whale, right? That's ribs of a whale. And then the things under the glass is a great auk, which is extinct. It's a kind of lyrebird that's extinct. It actually says on the plaque. I don't remember what that one is, but I know it's one of those species of birds from like New Zealand or something. And so all the things inside the glass are actually museum pieces. Those are things that are already extinct. And the children are weeping over the things that are dead here. So the things that are dead are the green sea turtle, the snow leopard, and the buffalo and the whale. Well, those things are all things that are endangered species right now. And the trees burning represents like the Amazon burning, the big trees, and just burning forests in general. I mean, the ones in the front look like redwoods. They don't look like necessarily the Amazon. But so the guy never said, the artist, what they represented for this mural. There's this mural and the one after it. The one afterwards, they're all alive and it's all happy and it's all kids from multinational. It's a small world after all kind of thing with the, dancing with the living snow leopard and all these other animals that are on the verge of extinction. So you can look at it and say that what it's representing is two possible futures. This future where we lose the animals that are endangered, we lose the trees, we lose the forest, we lose the races of people now this, I find this the most interesting thing, because the animals are one thing, but this is talking about the loss of identity, like global identity, like you're losing your cultural identity, right? You're losing the Native Americans, you're losing
there's a big racial component to this story.
Huge, yeah.
That's on the screen. But I mean, the thing is you see that girl over there, is she not wearing
She's like from Austria. She's like Austrian, right?
German. She's German.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
She's Native American in the center, and maybe Indian or no, I can't tell. It's blacked out. No pun intended. I think that is like an African woman, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it says the bird at the top is Quetzal.
Oh, Quetzalcoatl? Really? Nice.
It doesn't say Quetzalcoatl. It just says Quetzal.
No, there's no such bird. That could be what it's supposed to represent. Is the
No,
flying
I
serpent.
know there is a bird called a Quetzal. I just looked it up.
Is there? Because I know it's a kind of lyrebird, right? LYRE.
It's also like.
And it's that color too.
Oh, okay.
It's
endangered, right? Well, no, it's dead, right? That one's extinct.
It is known as a symbol for Palestinian freedom because its colors represent those of the state of Palestine.
And it's extinct right now?
No, it's alive.
It's
because the other ones are extinct. The ones in the cases are extinct. Yeah, because that's a passenger pigeon, right down the right. The one kid's holding with the purple hat.
Yes, it's a passenger pigeon. Yes, and the
which is extinct. Yeah, the great auk. Those are extinct. So, I see what you're saying. So this one's not inside the box yet. It's the. You know what? That's a good image. Because the box,
man,
yeah,
right?
because it's got the flames, right? Exactly right. And it's got the box not closed yet. The box is still creaked open.
So there's also a symbol, since it is the symbol of the Palestine freedom bird, is it a symbol that Palestine has not been completely in control yet either?
Yeah. It's not totally boxed in yet. It's not extinct. There's still hope, right? But also, like Jimmy just said, the phoenix rising from the ashes, that's definitely deliberately there for that reason. Yeah.
Yeah, and
for sure.
There seems to be some green lines coming up from around that girl in the background there, that kid with the blue shirt on, the dark hair.
Yeah, I don't know if that's supposed to be. You talk about the straight lines going on the horizon, like directly backwards. Or
there's some green lines coming up. But anyways, the point is look, there's clearly something going on. I mean,
I'm sorry, I just laughed because I just saw something. Do you guys see the vagina on the left-hand side?
No.
If you look between the whale and the
I
auk,
do. Yeah, it's there.
Yep. It's got
there.
the breast. It's got it. Yes.
What is this?
Right.
The flowers of Maplethorpe? Is that what we're looking at right now?
Yeah. It's real, right? I mean, it's almost like, look, Jimmy. It's even got the. I'm sorry, it's gross. It's got menstrual blood or something too. It's crazy, man. Look at it, Jimmy. Look at it now.
Oh, it's there.
Yeah.
So it's got
the flowers
got the
of
breast,
Robert Mapplethorpe. That's what we're looking at right now.
And what's it clothed in? It's clothed in a red cape, right?
Yeah.
And who's that?
Awesome.
Who's that woman though? Right there What is she doing? Is she pouring something? What is that bird that's in front of the woman? But it also it looks like she's doing something. The back end of that bird.
She's trying to do something to the Great Auk, like hold it up or something. Like they're all trying to hold up the birds together like they're in a museum, but they're trying to like hold them too.
Right.
That woman's doing. It looks like the back of that bird is something else besides the back of the bird. The woman's pouring, got it something square or some object, or she's emptying something. It looks like to me. I can't tell. Anyways.
Well, yeah, it's good art actually, because if you look at the white on the black of the Great Auk, right? If you just look at that shape, it's a howling wolf or fox or something. It's actually looking up like howling at the moon. It's abstract, obviously, but yeah, you can pick a lot of images there. Definitely, she's like acting like carefully like a curator and looking down sad, like it's gone, right? So that's like the passenger pigeon is definitely already extinct, right?
Go to the next one, John, with the kids in that in the arena and the Asian man. Secret Asian man. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching We've Read the Documents, Dudes Talking, episode 22, Denver Airport.
Is this the right one, Jimmy?
I don't know. I'm on a delay with everybody else.
Is it the one with the dead soldier?
No. It's the one with all the kids banging their swords into plowshares in front of the secret Asian man.
All right, let me look it up.
So no, that one, go ahead and blow that one up. That's the sequel. So these are 2-part murals, right? So okay, now that's the second one of the one we're talking about with the soldier in the front. So this is meant to be the second one, and then the one we just looked at, there's a second version of that too. So
all right, whatever.
There's 4 total murals. Yeah.
Right. So which one is this? No, was I jumping ahead of the archaeology?
Yeah. Because the one we just looked at, there's another one with all the kids like dancing together with all the snow leopards, hopping around all happy and stuff, and they live. So like the one version of the future, if I interpret it that way anyway, is the dismal one where all the animals are trying to save. It was too late to save the ones that are already gone, right? And the other ones that are here now are dead, and they're mourning their loss, right? Just like the cultural identities.
What about the one where the dude is coming across? It's clearly a
with the scimitar and the gas mask and everything. Yeah. And that's the first one of the one we just saw last was the.
And the one we just saw is called "In Peace and Harmony with Nature."
The one I'm talking about is the one with the kids dancing around. That's the beginning. The dude with the sword is the middle, and the next one is the end, right? And then the kids all coming together is the whole thing, and there's no adults in that picture.
Yeah, it's 2 sets. Like the one set is one we just saw, and you can look at them right or left to right, because there's no order to them, right? And the one's got the kids all dancing, and that's the sequel to the one we just looked at. And then the other one's the guy, the ominous dude, and it's the death of light, because it's going into it fades into black basically, and it's got the guy with the scimitar, and he's stabbing a dove, and that's the first one, or the second one, depending how you look at it, right? It could be the
show that one get to that one, because this one that we're seeing now, the is what happens as a result of that, right?
I'm getting up.
I mean, I guess we're out of order. I'm out of order, John. You're out.
Right. We're all out of order. Yeah, the artist did describe the second series, what that's supposed to mean, but he didn't describe the first one. The first one, at least
so
that I
was
was
called
able to
Children of the World, Dream in Peace.
I don't care what the artist described, man.
Well, no, me neither, because you can look at it and see what it is.
Don't even jade me with it. Don't even.
Right. No, I like my interpretation too. Yeah, I think.
There you go, man. But I think in the future, when just like in the movie or in the book, The Stand by Stephen King, and the subsequent 5-part miniseries about the end of the civilization through biological methods, and there's a bunch of people that are having dreams about going to Colorado, and so.
Oh, right.
and they all end up going to Colorado. So the people of God or the Christians, they all go to Colorado, and then these other people are having dreams, and they all end up in Vegas. And it's the clash between the good and evil. But they release it, for whatever reason, Colorado seems like it would be a good place to be. And so, the federal government has been moving quite a bit of their stuff, their agencies to Colorado. They live in the Golden area is where a lot of these agencies and stuff, their main facilities are now, their main headquarters or whatever are no longer in DC or whatever, that it's in Denver. Because Denver is supposedly going to be the capital of this
New World Order, yeah.
It is, man, and it's interesting. Simply, just like what I was saying earlier, because there's a lot of powerful black magic that goes on in Denver, and I mean, you can look into it, John. It's an interesting subject, and it ties into a lot of what you're into. Your main focus of a lot of your investigative work, leans in a specific area, man. That's really an important area, and there's a lot of that going on up there. You should take a look at it. There's a specific hotel right in Denver. All you got to really do is just look up, Denver hotel and Bush, George Bush, both older and younger. But yeah, so look at this one here, right? So this is not the first one, right? But that guy's uniform and everything is laying on the ground there in front
That's
of
the guy, yeah.
Right. That's not the Asian dude is now, he's the guy that all the children are bringing their weapons down and they're pounding them into plowshares. See him? And it's all multicultural. They're doing it from all countries, but mostly where I see the weapons, they're wrapped in American flags and British flags.
You got the Israeli one with the Palestinian, is it German? I'm not sure the one next to the Israeli flag on the right hand side. It is. I thought it was, yeah, Palestinian. Then on the other side you got can't quite make that out because you got some character's back shirt in the background, right?
Looks like Brazil.
So, yeah, it does look like Brazil. And then the Argentina and something else. Oh, and Turkey. Is that Turkey? That's got it's one of the countries over nearby, maybe Algeria. They both have that. All those countries seem to have the crescent moon and star, right? But that was black. Point being, if you look at them the way I look at them, if you look at them up, turn them the other way around, like so they're not left to right, but up and down. And those are, how do you pronounce it? The fasci or fascia, just like you have in Congress, the old Roman symbol where they're bound with the axes and things. Yeah. So they're not necessarily plows. They're binding them into it's a government symbol, right? It is. If that's what they are, yeah.
Definitely could be, but what's interesting too is that you see that the majority of the nationalities that are up in the painting don't have any swords.
Right. No, it's all peaceful.
Yeah, there's certain people that have swords, and they have representatives, and they're taking their flags. They're throwing their flags away too. They're taking their flags and they're wrapping their weapons in their flags, and they're bringing them down to the nice secret Asian man.
Because he's the only adult in the room, right? Isn't that true? I don't see. There's a guy on the right that's also Asian, that has like a red tie, maybe.
That's right.
It could be an adult. That could be it.
After the biological release, the Chinese come on over, and the only ones left are the children. Because it's designed, the biological release is designed specifically to get people over a certain age. The people that will resist the future, man, that won't go into the future peacefully. And so,
I see maybe two more adults, right? Is it a Canadian Mountie guy up in the upper left, right? He's got the hat. I don't know if he's a Mountie, but he's got the red suit, right? And then I think that woman on the left-hand side might be two women, actually. The African woman, and looks like maybe Mongolian or something like that. I can't tell. Somewhere over that area of the world. But yeah, very few adults, right? At the most, even counting them, it's 5 maybe out of all this.
I'll tell you what, man. Most of the people that are into the alternative information, most of those people would be considered anti-vaxxers. And so if there was some Captain Trips going across the country, the people that don't trust the vaccines, they wouldn't get the vaccines. But this time, the vaccine will really work. So the only people that get it, that get the vaccines, those people will live, and everybody who doesn't get it. So it's an easy way to get rid of all the alternative people that have an alternative viewpoint. Right, all in the same motion. They just
now you're on Speculation River, right, Jimmy?
Yeah. I'm a Speculation River too. You know, the thing that bothers me about this image is I've done a lot of research on the rainbow, and it's pretty disturbing stuff. Actually, I mean, it definitely deals with Luciferianism, unquestionably, right? And so I'm looking at a couple things here that, without getting into the worst aspects of it, because it's supposed to be nice, it's all multiculturalism, world of peace, and all that stuff. But you notice the golden dragon is the one band of the rainbow that comes around. There's the serpent head, the great dragon head at the left bottom corner, right? And so there's the dragon of that. The guy, the dead soldier with the machine gun, is resting upon the sword, which could be turned into a plow. That's that big scimitar. It's in the other picture. But what's this thing on the? Is that orange? Is that a serpent? I mean, or is that just a coincidence? I mean, it doesn't maybe look like the orange one where the head comes up.
It's wrapped in a rainbow, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
but that's blood at the bottom, right? I mean, it's red, but isn't that supposed to represent the blood of the fallen soldier here? Yeah. But what's that hat? Is that a hat? What is that black thing? That's what's bothering me. I can't quite figure out what that's supposed to be. It's almost like the messenger hats from, Paul Revere or something days. You know what I mean? I'm not quite sure what that is.
And the gun's broken too.
Yeah.
Well, John, get that original shot. There's the original painting I didn't send you, which is the one with the soldier.
I have that one. It's right here.
Yeah, the soldier with this, doing because his sword is a rainbow, and it's interesting, man. Because some people, back in the day when people were analyzing these, some people was saying that this rainbow image had to do with chemtrails, but I don't think so, man. I think it has more to do with spectrum and Lucifer.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
And light. Yeah.
And splintered consciousness, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there you go. I mean, that ain't a very good one. See if you can get a better one, dude, because that looks like somebody actually took that while they were there.
No, that's from the Denver Airport's website.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's not a good one.
Here's a picture of the murals next to each other. You guys might find this interesting.
Yeah, man. Let me see this. Because you can see that this dude, he's killing the dove of peace. Yeah. But in the one with the children, the dove, there's two of them, and they're kicking it down at the bottom on top of this dude's carcass and his uniform. But he's wearing the gas mask. That's the thing. And there's the rainbow.
So. Oh.
Taste the rainbow, John.
And it's coming out of him. It's like like the gas is coming out of him, and then turns into a rainbow when it goes across the arch where this exit door is, which is an interesting place to put a mural, I guess. And then it comes back through the arches and around back into not a complete rainbow anymore, but to like a red orangish like robe.
I'm telling you that this is what I firmly believe, that the story of what is going to happen in the world is laid out here specifically. And if it could be decoded correctly, I don't know if, you'd have to study it for a while, I mean, this is
left
like,
to right or right to left, right?
This is something that literally, like, people go and spend like 4 years of their life in the desert staring at the side of some old, structure, looking at some symbols on there and trying to come up with what they're trying to say. Because I think that this doorway, when you walk through it, the reason this is there is because this is a display of what happened to everybody and why you got to live in that underground situation that you're living in down there, because there's going to be people down underneath the Denver airport after the situation that takes place that would force people into the Denver airport underground facility that are going to be born down there. And they're never going to come up into the air because it's going to be poisoned with whatever, just like we talked about, when that THX 1138, everybody's underground. There's always this underground aspect that at some point things get to a point where you have to go underground, man.
And the rainbow becomes flags.
Becomes death. Yeah, it becomes death.
No, it becomes flags.
On the other side,
look.
yeah.
And then also, Deccan mentioned in the chat that the yellow becomes some sort of fairy-looking girl, which it does.
Whoa, good eye.
Yeah, it's the dragon head I was talking about down at the bottom left-hand side. It's got the tongue coming out, too.
Oh, yeah, the dragon head. I see that. Yeah, totally looks like a dragon head.
Yeah.
But that
the
would
dragon could represent Chinese, China.
Exactly.
Which in the center portrait's China, right? I mean,
he's yellow, and the dragon is yellow too.
Yep.
The yellow man cometh. He's gonna come over and take care of everybody. He's gonna be like Yang, that presidential candidate.
Andrew Yang, right? With Zoltan Isfan. Yeah, exactly.
But no, Yang's talking some good stuff. He's saying, you know what, man? I'm gonna just give everybody back their money. He's gonna give everybody, like, I don't know how much it is, but it's
$1,000.
$1,000. I want my Yang box.
Yep.
1,000? Nah, he was talking something like I thought it was 20 grand.
No, he's talking about $1,000. Not $1,000 a month for the rest of your life.
Yeah. So this one here, if you look at this, also when I said the death in there, so that's what it is. So it's either going into death, and this is people going underground, like this is like the river Styx, if you want to call it that, whatever. This gray lack of light, right? Or they're coming from darkness into the light becomes a rainbow and goes that way. So depending if you go right or left, it's either going into destruction and into the underworld, because that's what this represents, a spiral going into the underworld, or it's coming from there in the emergence through war. Was that what this is? But if you look at the vapors, actually go to the sleeping children. So sleeping children are like in the womb almost of there's not a womb, but I don't know what it is. They're grown up, but they're grown up to be kids anyway. It's like, and it comes out of that through the vapors into the rainbow, and then into the world that's unified and free and happy, right? With the swords all bound and the soldier dead. So
Suzanne also is making a good point about the end of the rainbow too. That's a good point, Suzanne.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the future utopia, and it doesn't have any bitter clingers. None of you pesky Christians. You know what I mean? No, none of you, nobody but the New World Order, the New World Religion, and the new way of being that, has no reference to the past, because all you got to do is erase the fact that there was anything called communism, never mention it again, and just have it be the way things are, and nobody knows there's anything different. Because you're not old enough to know. And that's the problem with what we got going on right now, because you got a bunch of young people out there, and the thing is like you think you know a lot because you know something. The thing is you don't know what you don't know.
Right. Jacques Cousteau.
And when you find something out, it changes everything. So the bottom line is you got a bunch of these characters that they're putting out there, these children that they're utilizing to move things forward, and it just ties right into this specific thematic that we see present here in the murals.
So the question really is, like, which languages that we have now go right to left as opposed to left to right? Like Hebrew is right to left. What else does? Because that make a big difference in how this is supposed to be read, right? It's supposed to be read right to left or left to right. Because it's read right to left, and this is the beginning, and the other side's the end. If it's left to right, that's the beginning going into this. Right?
Yeah, no, it's definitely written in Chinese. You're going backwards, man. I'm telling you, this is the beginning, and those kids at the end are the end. And look at that gun. What kind of weapon is that, man? That does not look like that looks like.
Well, it's a stylized AK-47. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a. Yeah. Right. So and that type of sword is definitely one that would be considered.
It's a Far East sword. It's a scimitar. It's nowhere. Yeah, the Europe, right? Eastern Europe and beyond.
Yeah. So I mean, and the way that guy's dressed, I mean, he's looking. He's got those baggy pants. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, he's girded up for biological warfare. There's no question about that. He's wearing. He's gloved. He's protected from the outside environment. I don't think he's from radiation. You know what I mean? He's cleaning up the mess or whatever, right? Yeah, whatever he's doing, he's destroying. He's obviously destroying stuff. He's trying to destroy peace.
There's a million reasons why you would want to go underground. Biological is one of them. I mean, these facilities that are underground, they're definitely airtight. They're airlocked. They're locked in. They got hydroponics. They got aquaponics. They got everything going on underground. There's no reason to even come above ground for any reason whatsoever. A lot of people think that what happened down in China Lake was one of these facilities. They're all run on these small nuclear power generators. And a lot of people think that one of those had a meltdown under that China Lake, and that's what caused all that earthquake activity. And there was a bunch of power lines and stuff that caught on fire.
Well, they have a nuclear airplane. They don't admit to it, but they have a nuclear airplane, right? They've had several nuclear airplanes going back to the 50s, late 50s. So, and that the explosion we just had in the Soviet Union, that was a missile, it's a nuclear-powered cruise missile. That's what's coming out now, what they're suggesting it was. And Soviet Union's not even denying it. Not Soviet Union's just Russia now, but they're not even denying it anymore. So, yeah, that's kind of what it is.
You're living in the past, son.
Yeah.
The Soviet Union.
I know, right? Yeah, Cold War kid.
The boot of the Soviet is on your throat.
And the hat on the soldier, it's an eagle, is it not?
I can't see it.
I can't see it well enough either. If it would, then it represents more of like a Nazi thing.
It's an eagle.
Yeah, there you go. Is it a double-headed eagle going east to west?
It's a single-headed eagle.
Which way is the head pointing?
Down.
Yeah, but which way is the beak going? Left or right?
Left.
East. Left? So east or west?
West.
Okay.
So it's America, right? Because that's the America has the eagle perched looking forward like that. Yeah, we're the only country that does that.
Look at the eagle for the Scottish Reich.
Scottish Reich of Freemasonry.
Yeah.
But he's got the shoulder boards with the tassels, right?
Yeah.
So
that's not the eagle saying which direction, who's controlling it.
Now, the Scottish Rite's eagle is double-headed eagle, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, because
Romans had it too.
The east and the west. Yeah, exactly.
So the thing about this, I mean, that's the American style of the eagle right there on some of our official stuff. But everything else does seem to be Asian. Like the rifles definitely looks like. Well, it was up that close. It could be something different. It could be a stylized Western weapon, but I don't think so. But the tassels, that's we were talking about Admiralty law before. That's a commandant, right? That's what that is. It's a commandant. It's a maritime that uses those tassels like that generally. So that kind of represents some interesting things, maybe. Well, it's hard to say.
There's a lot of interesting premises that have broken out about the reason you'd go underground. And so look at the people over here crying. And look at how they just can't stand it. It's so horrible. Look at.
It's like a little pocket of humanity is surviving. Everybody else is dead. They're on their way out, right?
There's no peace.
Right.
There's no peace. There they are, huh? Yeah. See, look at peace. Look at.
Yep.
Yeah. And there he is. Look at that little German kid over there.
Children from all over the world, Jimmy, and peace written in different languages.
It's a small world after all, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that kid right in the front is clearly a German kid. Right in the front.
Right there on the right-hand side. He's the one beating the sword, yes.
Yeah, the one Yeah, the one with the sledgehammer in his
Yeah,
hand.
he's clearly German. Got
So
blue eyes and
I'm
everything.
I'm not seeing any other adults when you get that close. Other than maybe this woman, the Israel woman, and maybe the one next to her right there. But yeah, other than that, I think the only real adult is looks like the Chinese guy. Everybody else is well, there's an older Chinese or Asian woman in the left there for sure. Yeah, we're definitely not very many grown-ups, man. So that's what the black thing is an anvil. They are pounding the sword into a plow or whatever. Yeah.
That's what I mean. They're going down and giving the weapons away because they don't want it anymore. There's no more war. That's the dude. That's the guy's sword too.
Yeah.
The guy from the picture. That's his
Because we
sword.
have the one world religion.
Yeah, for sure.
So here's the question: Is that adult right there? He could be a young adult, but is he the soldier who took off his uniform? And he's not dead. That he just took the uniform off and brought a sword to pound it in.
It could be, but I don't know. That guy's dressed in black too. He's the only guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the soldier's not a person either, because you can look down and see that his leg's broken, but there's no flesh.
Right. So it's like that guy cast off the uniform, right? So he's putting his sword into a plow.
And also, now the eagle's looking up and pointing his head to the west.
Is he?
Yeah, the eagle's not
All right,
looking.
well-
The eagle's not looking down anymore.
That dude definitely has both, or he has one hand on the sword and somebody else has their hand on it. So it looks like there's two hands on there. But that is definitely blood. And that's broken down there where your mouse is right now.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's interesting though. I mean, I'm just saying, if
So you just flew in for 13 hours connecting flights and you stop and you see this.
Look
right?
at the mountain kid.
no, you just came out from underground and you were born downstairs, and you just came out, and this is what you see. And as you come out, there's some guy, some androgynous dude. He's talking in a weird beta voice, telling you about what happened.
Oh, I see now. The soldier was on this capstone over here. He's what broke off. And the soldier was actually just a statue in this one. And it's a statue that says war, violence, and hate. So the soldier in this thing isn't even real. He was just a statue in this mural representation.
Right.
Yeah, he was.
Interesting, man. Interesting. So that's it, man. I mean, I mean, as far as these murals are concerned, and this artist, he's got a kind of a certain style. He's done other pieces that are sort of similar to this.
It's like he's the soldier's a golem. Jimmy.
I was going to say that too. Yeah.
And you want me to put out that picture that you sent me? Was that another picture of his, Jimmy?
Yeah, that's not having to do with this, but
That was another picture of his work, though, right?
Yeah, that's another picture of his work.
This is the demon eating people.
No, that's an ancient piece.
Oh.
No, that has nothing to do with
I was
this.
about to say, if you did that too, then
Yeah.
hot damn.
No, there's another piece that's square. There's like an American flag on it.
I didn't see that in the pictures. Did I miss it?
It's like a dude in there. Hang on a second. I'll get it. Or I'll see if I can.
Oh, I got it.
Let's trip on the tic-tac-toe tunic the girl was wearing there. the blue one.
I noticed that earlier.
I got it.
X's and O's.
There it is.
All right.
Okay, what do y'all think about this one? This guy definitely has a theme. I give him that.
He does, man.
Can you see it, Epic? No, I lost it.
I just refreshed because I didn't see it yet. I
Yeah,
still see the mural. Oh, there you go.
I refreshed too. I didn't see it.
I see it now.
I don't see it, but there you go. Yeah.
That's the first time I've seen this one. So it's a yin
Now, this
yang in the
isn't
center.
in the airport. This is one that he posted.
Yeah, no, this is just this is another one of his pieces. So this is an interesting one too.
It's like you have
Disappeared.
the black eagle at the top.
It disappeared and went back to the other.
I'll put it back up. I'll put it back up. So you got the black eagle on the top flag. And you have a person's face morphing into 3 different faces.
Yeah, you got the dead American. It looks like on the right wrap. Is he dead or is he just?
No, he's fighting.
Dying.
He's fighting. He's not
okay.
dead.
Yeah, and look at that. Look at that eagle. Looks like the Rush.
That's a Nazi.
Nazi. Yeah.
And it looks like the center is the only closest thing that you'll get to a white person is the thing that's morphing.
Well, and you get the evil face, on the right hand side that turns into the kids looking up at the anguished mom. So you got the halo, you got the fierce mask, almost like the Joker there, right on the right hand side.
It's
goes from the halo.
Revolting too. It's
yeah.
There's workers revolting in the outside.
Oh, is this in San Diego? This might be. Where's this at? This is. It's under the bridge. There's art like this under the bridge.
Houston.
Right? It's in Houston. Oh, okay. I've seen something very similar. The migrant worker on the right hand side and stuff like that. And I bet you it's the same guy that did this.
Yeah, look down there. A skeleton or something. What is that? A dog? Or something?
It's a human skull. It looks like a human skull down there.
Is it a human?
Looks like, yeah. So what are we representing?
The mural
here?
is called the Torch of Quetzalcoatl.
Interesting, man. Hey, man, this has been a fun show. So, how much longer are we going to be going, John?
We good, Jimmy. Have you guys got anything else?
Well, we got a lot of stuff, but we'll have to save it for another time because we got a good thing coming up. And I don't know what you got coming next week, but I really want to thank you for having me come by. And everybody, thanks a lot for listening. And you can join Epic and I tomorrow night at 10:30 Pacific on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, 11 Pacific, 2 a.m. Eastern, for a 2-hour ride through the night. We get into all kinds of stuff, man. So stop on by. Maybe John will even be there. Who knows? Maybe he'll get a pair.
Yeah.
You can't tell, though.
Too late for me, Jimmy. Too late for me.
Yeah.
He's got to get the heater working in the outside shed there.
Well, no, the air conditioner this time. But all right. Good night, Jimmy and Epic. Glad you guys have you on as always. Take care. Have a good
Hey, man. Thanks a lot for having us.
Anytime.
Yeah.
All right. That's everything for this evening. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We covered the Denver airport. As always, till next time, continue reading the document.